Okay, Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi and very good morning. Today our topic is risk and return. Alright, any question before we start? Topik kita hari ini adalah risiko dan juga pulangan. Kalau ada soalan lain sebelum kita sambung? Okay, kalau tak ada soalan, we can start now. Now our topic is topic number 4, which is risk and return. Risiko dan juga pulangan. Alright, saya nak panggil, I want to call Miza Rizauddin. Miza ada sini? Miza, are you here? Miza Rizauddin, are you here? Alright, kita pergi ke Wu Fangyi. Wu Fangyi, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Alright, thank you very much for the response. I want to ask Fangyi, what is the meaning of risk that you understand? Apakah maksud risiko yang Fangyi boleh faham in general? In general, what is the risk?
The possibility of losing something.
Losing. Okay, I want to quote losing, loss. Okay. Okay, loss, losing something. In our case, losing money, for example. Okay, I want to call Ku Wahida Shakira. Ku Wahida di sini. Ku Wahida, are you here? Alright, saya nak panggil Nur Hidayah Muhammad Fauzi. Nur Hidayah? Nur Hidayah ada sini?
Yes, sir.
Okey, Nur Hidayah. Apa maksud risiko yang Dayah boleh faham?
Loss in investment.
Okey, loss, also loss. Alright, saya buka topik soalan ini kepada umum. What is the meaning of the risk that you can understand in general? Apakah maksud risiko yang anda boleh faham secara amnya? Alright, you can reply to the chat box or you can unmute your audio, your speaker. Okey, mari kita tengok apa perkataan lain yang sinonim dengan risiko. Setakat ini kita cuma ada satu saja, iaitu loss. Uncertainty. Okay, possibility of something bad. Okay, bad. Alright, kita tengok uncertainty, kerugian, and something bad, danger, uncertainty, danger. Lagi apa tadi? Bad, harm. Okay, lain? Okay, itu saja. Okay, kalau anda tengok di sini, all about the risk is from the negative perspective. Okay, from the negative perspective. But somehow, one of the our friend meet here, Hanif, Abdul Hanif here, said keuntungan, okay, profit. Tapi Hanif cakap risiko adalah profit. Okay. Tetapi Hanif cakap risiko adalah profit. Dan Nur Hidayah juga bercakap berkaitan dengan amount of return gain on the investment. Alright. So ada pelbagai maksud atau pelbagai tanggapan or perspective about the risk. Some of you said from the negative perspective, loss, uncertainty, danger, harm, bad. But some others said it profit and also gain. Okay, profit and also gain. Okay, that is in general what we're going to discuss for today. Okay, we start with the return. That's why to change from the negative perspective to the positive perspective, this topic we start with the return. Instead of bad example or danger example or uncertainty or loss, harm, and so on, somehow risk also means in the perspective definition, in the positive definitions. Alright, kita mulakan perbincangan kita dengan return. Okay. Return represent the total gain / loss on an investment. Okay, kadar pulangan ni dia boleh bercampur-campur. Okay, dia boleh pelbagai, sama ada positif and negatif. Okay, sekiranya pulangan itu lebih tinggi daripada kos, kita boleh mendapat keuntungan. But sekiranya pulangan itu kurang daripada kos, kita akan mendapat kerugian. So return can be positive and also can be negative. Okay, kita tengok contoh di sini. Okay, one of our friend invest in 10 unit share, value 1,000 ringgit. At the end of the year, Damia sell all the shares with 1,100. So how much the return in percentage? How much the return received by Damia for her investment? So how to calculate the return? So 1,100 plus 0 here is dividend. Okay, 0 here is dividend, but there are no dividend in the questions. So minus 1,000, okay, previous investment, and over 1,000. So Damia receive 10% gain, 10% return, positive return from her investment. So ini cara pengiraan kadar pulangan. Okay, this is how we calculate the return from the above investment. From the above investment here. Alright, we start with the definition. Kita akan mulakan dengan definisi ini. The first one is expected return. Yang pertama adalah pulangan dijangka ataupun expected return. You can see here the sign of the expected return is R bar. Okay, R bar. R bar is the expected return. Okay, some the textbook use R hat. Ada topi di atas R ni, R hat. Okay, di sini kita akan gunakan R bar. Okay, R bar is represent expected return. What is the expected return? Expected return is the return that investor expect to earn on an asset. Okay, apabila diberi harga, diberi kadar pertumbuhan, arba adalah investor expect to earn on the asset. Okay, on the asset. Contohnya kita menjangkakan, okay, to receive 10% when we invest or buy the share. Okay, itu yang kita jangkakan. Yang kedua adalah R ataupun required return, required rate of return. R saja, without hat. Okay, R saja adalah required rate of return. Kadar pulangan perlu, the return that an investor requires on the asset given its risk and market interest rate. Okay, ini adalah kadar pulangan minimum yang diperlukan oleh pelabur apabila mereka membeli sesuatu saham, membeli sesuatu aset dan sebagainya. Okay, setakat itu ada soalan? Any question? So expected return from investment determined by the different possible outcome, such probabilities of the occurrence of the various state of the economy. Lepas ini akan diberi beberapa state of economy, bermaksud the situation of the economy. Okay, for example, dalam keadaan yang defisit, dalam keadaan ekonomi normal dan dalam keadaan ekonomi bagus, dia akan beri kita kebarangkalian, the probability, dan juga kadar pulangan tertentu, dan kita akan mengira kadar pulangan dalam beberapa situasi ekonomi yang berbeza. For the example, in the unstable situation, it is hard for the investor to be assured on the expected rate of return. Okay, apa beza? What is the difference between required rate of return and expected rate of return? Saya ulang, required rate of return adalah kadar pulangan perlu atau kadar pulangan minimum apabila pelabur ataupun kita ingin membeli sesuatu saham. Okey, yang kedua expected rate of return, ARBA, adalah kadar pulangan yang dijangka diperolehi apabila kita membeli sesuatu saham. Contohnya, for example, I need or I want 10% at least, meaning that the rate of return, kadar pulangan perlu, I need at least or the minimum 10% when I buy ABC share. Okay, saya memerlukan kadar pulangan 10% minimum apabila saya membeli sesuatu saham, katakan saham ABC. tetapi saya menjangkakan saham ini boleh memberi pulangan 15%. Okay. Setelah kita menganalisis keadaan ekonomi, saya menjangkakan saham ini boleh menjangkau 15% kadar pulangan. Okay. Contohnya saya tulis sini ya. Di sini R bar, di sini R. Okay. Here is the R bar and here is the R. Katakan kadar pulangan perlu saya, kadar pulangan minimum saya adalah 10%. Dan kadar pulangan yang dijangka di sini 15%. Okay, kadar pulangan minimum 10%, kadar pulangan dijangka 15%. Okey, sebagai seorang pengurus kewangan, if you are financial manager in ABC company, apakah keputusan anda? What is your decision to buy or not to buy this share? Ingat ya, one of the task, one of the responsibility of the financial manager is decision maker. Okay, sebagai pembuat keputusan, decision making. So you have to decide to buy or not to buy this share or this asset. Let's say kadar pulangan perlu, kadar pulangan minimum adalah 10%, tetapi anda menjangkakan kadar pulangan dijangka adalah 15%. Accept or reject this project. Terima atau tolak proposal ini. Okay, buy, terima. You kena bagi justification. What is your justification? Okay, saya akan bagi contoh justification. Justificationnya ataupun sebabnya, reasonnya adalah kerana expected return is higher than required rate of return. So, we buy this proposal. Okay, macam tu ya. Sama juga dalam assignment nanti, dalam tugasan projek berkumpulan nanti. Apabila anda mendapat result, you kena justify why. Give the reason. Okay, sekali lagi. Okay, kadar pulangan minimum adalah 10%, required rate of return is 10%. But the expected return after we consider all the economy situation, the expected rate of return 9%. Okay, buy or not buy, accept or reject this proposal. Reject. Sebab kenapa kita reject? Why we reject this proposal? Give your reason. Give your justification. Why we reject this proposal? Okay, bagus, dah pandai. We reject this proposal because expected return is lower than required rate of return. Okay, bagus, dah pandai dah. Kenapa kita reject? Because the expected return is lower than required rate of return. That is the justification. Why we accept? Because we accept because expected return is higher than required rate of return. Or why we reject? Because expected return lower than required rate of return. Okay, bagus. Itu apabila diberi result, kita dapat result, we have to support with the reason, with the justification. Boleh? Alright, ada soalan? This is how we calculate the expected rate of return. Ini adalah cara bagaimana kita mengira expected rate of return. So expected rate of return, the weighted average of all possible return where the return are weighted by the probability that each will occur. Okay, seperti saya sebut tadi akan diberi beberapa keadaan ekonomi tertentu, ada kebarangkaliannya dan kita harus averagekan ataupun puratakan dia menjadi suatu expected rate of return. Okay, here is PB. PB is the probability, kebarangkalian, and R is the return for the outcome, N is the number of outcome considered. Di sini ya. Maknanya ini darab ini tambah, ini darab ini tambah, dan ini darab ini tambah. Okey. Diberikan, kalau anda lihat di sini, given here is the three different situation of the economy. Given here, three different state of the economy, which is recession, normal, and high or boom economy. And the probability that recession is 20%. The probability of the normal situation is 30%. And the probability of the boom economy is 50%. And the return for recession is about 10%, normal 12%, and boom economy is 14%. Okey, kirakan kadar pulangan dijangka. Calculate the expected rate of return. So, ini akan darab ini. Okay. Ini akan ini akan darab dengan ini akan darab dengan ini, dan ini akan darab dengan ini. Nanti anda akan dapat nilainya di sini, nilainya di sini, dan nilainya di sini. Kemudian anda akan tambahkan semuanya. Okay. Kita akan tambahkan semuanya di sini dan kita akan dapat nilainya di sinilah. Contoh yang diberi adalah 0.2, 10%, 0.3, 12%, 0.5, 14%. And the total is, okay, after we total, the result is 12.6%. Okay, ada siapa yang tak dapat? Any problem to calculate the expected rate of return? Ada soalan? Any question? Alright. If you notice the nature of probability, okay, nilai probability mestilah 100%. Kalau anda perasan, nilai probability adalah 100%, 100%. Okay. Atau satu lah. Okay. Atau 1.0. Kan anda tulis ini 0.2, 0.3, and 0.5. If you sum all these number, you will get 1.0, or if you sum all this number, you will get 100%. Okay, probability jumlahnya akan jadi semestinya akan jadi 1.0. Alright, tak ada soalan? Okay, kita akan sambung. Okay, kirakan expected rate of return bagi company or bagi saham A and saham B. Okay, please calculate the expected rate of return for A and B, company A and company B. Given here the three state of the economy, three different situation of the economy, and this is the probability of the economy, and this is written for A company, and this is written for company B. Okay, please calculate the expected return of A and B. Okay, kirakan sekarang. Apa jawapan untuk company A dan apa jawapan untuk company B? Cepat. So what is the answer for A and what is the answer for B? Anyone? A 10%. A 10%. So B 14%. So now you are a financial manager in the company. Okay. We want this is the proposal A and B. Which one is better? All right. Give your reason why company B better than company A. Why we have to invest in company B rather than company A? What is your justification? All right, bagus. Because expected return of B is higher than expected return from company A. That is the justification. Kenapa kita perlu memilih syarikat B ataupun saham syarikat B? Kerana kadar pulangan dijangka bagi saham syarikat B adalah lebih tinggi, iaitu 14% berbanding dengan saham syarikat A, iaitu cuma 10%. That is the justification. Boleh dapat? Okay. Don't just let number just the number. Give your reason why the decision made to invest in company B rather than company A. Boleh dapat macam tu? Okay. Jangan biarkan angka itu ataupun result itu just a number. Give the meaning of the number. Okay. Bagus? Okay. Kiwi, bagus. Sebab return syarikat B itu lebih tinggi daripada syarikat B, iaitu 14 berbanding dengan 10%. Okay, itu cara kita menjawab lah. Okay. Kalau nanti board of the director tanya kenapa kita pilih A, kenapa kita pilih B berbanding dengan A, sebabnya adalah kadar pulangan syarikat B lebih tinggi daripada kadar pulangan syarikat A. Alright. Simpan jawapan ni. Okay, keep this answer because we're going to use it again after this. Okey, sekarang kita pergi ke definisi risiko. Now we are in risk definition. What is the risk? Tadi kawan-kawan kita cakap risk is about the loss, risk is about the uncertainty, risk about the hazard, risk about the danger, loss, harm, and so on. Okay. So what is the risk? Risk is the potential variability in future cash flow. That's why some of the our friend just now give the meaning of risk is gain and then profitability, profits. That's why risk is the potential variability in the future cash flow. Risiko ni dia boleh jadi untung atau rugi. The possibility that actual return differ from expected return. Kadar pulangan sebenar berbeza dengan kadar pulangan yang dijangka. Okey, tadi kita jangkakan dapat 15%. Okay, we expect to receive 15% expected return. Okay, we expect to receive 15% from our investment. But suddenly, COVID-19 come in our economy. What is the actual result? Kita cuma dapat 5% return. Okay, this is what we call risk in our investment. Okay, kita jangkakan dapat 15%, but somehow something bad happen in the economy, we only manage to receive 5% only. So this is the possibility that actual return differ from our expected return. That this is the risk in the finance. Okay, the wider the range of possible future event that can occur, the greater the risk. Okay, this or here we want to apply the concept. One of the principle in finance is high risk and high return. Di sini kita akan gunakan prinsip high risk and high return. Okay, yang kita tengok dalam our very first chapter hari itu. So how to measure the risk? How to measure the risk? Bagaimana kita nak mengukur calculated risk? Okay, risiko yang boleh dikira. How do we calculate the risk? Okay, kita akan menggunakan, we will going to use a standard deviation ataupun sisihan piawai to measure the risk. Okay, we're going to use standard deviation to measure the risk. Di sini high or greater standard deviation mean high risk. Okay, the greater the standard deviation, the greater the uncertainty or the greater the risk. High standard deviation mean high risk. Okay, the sign of the standard deviation, we going to use sigma here. Okay, to square root of the weighted average squared deviation of each possible return from the expected return. Okay, how to measure the risk? We're going to use standard deviation. High standard deviation mean high risk. Okay, this is the formula, standard deviation formula here. Okay, just now, tadi kan, tadi kita dah kira berkaitan dengan company A and company B. Okay, company A and company B. And the result of company A is 10% expected return. And the result for company B is 14% expected return. This is the possible return for company A. And this is possible return for company B. And this is the possibility or the probability of the economy, state of the economy. Okay, kalau anda masih ingat tadi, Okay, ini adalah the probability of their economy. This is return from company A. This is return from the company B. Di sini tadi kita dapat here 10%. Okay, here 10%. And here is 14%. Ingat lagi? Okay, kita akan menggunakan bagaimana kita nak kira standard deviation here. So, you darab di sini. Okay, 4% minus 10 in power of 2. 10% minus 10% power of 2 dapat 0 here. 14 minus 10 in power of 2. And the probability is 0.3. Here is 4.8. You total up all the figures and you will get 12%. Dan punca kuasa 2, square root of 12, 3.46 for the company A, and company B minus 10% minus 14 in power of 2, and the probability is 2, 11, 5.2, 14 minus 14 in power of 2, and 5, 0, 30 minus 14 in power of 2, and 0.3, 76.8, and the variant sum of this total up of these figures, we will get 192 here, and square root for the 192 equivalent to 13.86%. Okay, any question? Semua dapat nilai ni? Can you get this answer? Okay, boleh dapat nilai ni? Alright. Okay, Ikhwan. Ada soalan di bawah ni, Ikhwan. Okay. Ikhwan tengok soalan di bawah ni, Ikhwan. Which stock would you prefer? Soalannya di bawah ini, which stock would you prefer? Yang mana satu anda akan pilih dan berikan justification. Okay, based on this answer, 3.46 for company A and 13.86 for the company B, the question is, board of the director akan tanya you sebagai pengurus kewangan, okay Wan, saham syarikat mana yang akan kita pilih? Dan berikan sebab. And give your justification. Okay. Okay, Wan pilih company A. Kim Boon also go for A. Okay, Alifah go for B. Okay. Lain? Ikhwan go for A. Lain? Jawapan lain? Hanif go for A. Lain? Kenapa Hanif pergi pada A? Louis also go for A. Lower risk. Lain? Aina go for B. Amanina go for B. Jezwan go for B. Why you go for B? This one. Kokila also B. Why Kokila? Why you go for B? Happy Deepavali in advance. Okay. Next week we're going to celebrate Deepavali on Sunday. So there are no meeting on Sunday, but our class is on Monday. We proceed as usual. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. That's why one of the definition, okay, the definition of the risk just now is the variability of the outcome. Okay, kalau kita tengok tadi apa masuk risiko? Risiko adalah kepelbagaian result. Okay, kalau you tengok tadi the meaning of risk is the variability in outcome or in the result. So the result here is bercampur-campur. Okay, A and B, YA and YB. Okay, A is the low return, B is the high return. Some of you go for the lower return and some others go for higher return. Dua-dua jawapan betul. Okay, both of the answer are correct. Okay, why? Because the perception of the risk will direct you atau will mempengaruhi you untuk membeli sesuatu saham. Ada orang yang tidak mahu mengambil risiko, mereka pergi kepada saham yang risiko rendah. Ada orang yang suka mengambil risiko, mereka pergi kepada saham yang berisiko tinggi. Alright, biasanya kajian menunjukkan orang-orang yang memilih risiko rendah ataupun kita sebut sebagai risk averse populations, biasanya orang-orang tua. Okay, biasanya orang-orang tua. Mereka decide to involve in the lower risk activities or lower risk investment. Kerana apa? Kerana mereka ini dah tua ataupun mereka dah ada macam-macam penyakit, for example sakit jantung, mereka tak boleh nak tengok tiba-tiba saham jatuh harga ataupun mereka terkejut apabila saham jatuh harga atau saham itu naik untung terlampau banyak pun mereka terkejut, untung terlampau sedikit pun mereka terkejut. So mereka tak boleh, jantung mereka berdegup dengan kencang dan mereka boleh kena heart attack dan mati. That's why orang-orang tua biasanya mereka akan memilih saham yang lebih stable, okay, ataupun yang berisiko rendah. Okay. Tetapi apabila anda tengok, apabila saham berisiko rendah, low risk investment, the return also low. Okay, the return also low. Okay, mereka sebaliknya, mereka yang memilih saham yang berisiko tinggi, biasanya kajian menunjukkan mereka adalah golongan muda. Okay, mereka golongan yang muda, young population or young generations. Because young generation, they love to involve with risk. Mereka suka terlibat dengan risiko. So that's why they involve in the stock market. Okay, they involve in the stock market. They go for beli saham di pasaran saham kerana pulangan di pasaran saham adalah lebih tinggi dan mereka juga bersedia untuk menerima kejatuhan harga saham. Okay, mereka, sebab tu anda tengok golongan muda biasanya mereka akan suka mengambil risiko, suka mencari perhatian dan sebagainya. Mereka suka berlumba, naik motor laju-laju, tayar satu, mereka suka berlumba di jalan raya, mereka cuba mencari perhatian di social media dan sebagainya. kerana mereka suka involved with the risk. Okay, kedua-duanya betul, bergantung kepada perceptions of the risk, right? So there are no right or no wrong answer. Ia bergantung kepada your readiness to involve with the risk. If you are risk averse, normally you go for the low risk investment. That's why when you involve with the low risk, the return also in the low range. Okay, but if you are love to risk, or here we call risk takers, okay, you will involve with the high risk investment, and the expected return when you involve with the high risk investment is also high. Okay, it depends. It depends. There are no single answer. Dua-duanya betul. Alright. It's not always true that if we can conclude that standard deviation is one single technique to measure the risk. Another one is the CV, or the coefficient of variance. Okay, the coefficient of variance measure the relative dispersion that useful comparing risk of asset with different expected rate of return. How to calculate the risk? How to calculate the coefficient of variance? Standard deviation over R bar. Okay, standard deviation here. Okay, the first result here, divide by R bar, expected rate of return. So kita akan dapat coefficient of variance. Coefficient of variance also similar with the standard deviation. High coefficient of variance mean high risk. Okay, higher the coefficient of variance, the higher of the risk. Okay, here this is the example just now. Okay, expected return of the asset A 10%, standard deviation 3.46, and for the B, asset B or company B, the expected rate of return is 14%, and standard deviation 13.86%. Okay, soalan tadi, which asset do you prefer? Some of you go for B, some others go for A. Okay, how to calculate coefficient of variance? Iaitu standard deviation here divide by 10%. Standard deviation here 13.86 divide by 14%. So, dapat jawapan ni? Ada siapa yang tak dapat? Okay. A 0.346 coefficient of variance. B 0.99 coefficient of variance. So still consistent with the standard deviation. The higher the higher coefficient of variance is the higher risk. So here, asset B or company B high coefficient of variance compared to the company A coefficient of variance. So a unit of risk in return for asset B higher than asset A. As a conclusion, asset A is less risky than asset B. In comparing risk, it is more effective if we are using coefficient of variance because it considers the relative size of the rates of return of that here asset A and asset B. Okay, itu kesimpulannya. That is the conclusion for coefficient of variance. Okey, cuba exercise ini. Okey, cuba exercise ini. Cuba buat exercise ini. Please calculate two asset here, asset H and asset D. Okay, asset H and asset D here. This is for greeny industry. The distribution shown in the table. PB is the probability, R is the return. Okay, ini asset D, asset H. This is the 5 different state of economy. Number 1, calculate the expected rate of return for asset D and asset H. Number 2, calculate the standard deviation for asset D and asset H. And 3, calculate the coefficient of variance for asset D and asset H here. Okay, cuba kira. Wait ah. Okay. Kita nak panggil nama. Okay, mari kita check. I want to call Akalili. Akalili, are you here?
Yes.
Alright, Akalili. Jawapan untuk A dulu. What is the expected return for H and for D? Akalili? H, tak dengar Akalili. Akalili boleh tulis kat situ. Akalili boleh tulis guna chat box. Okay, H ditulis macam ni 4%. Okay, H 4%. Okay, we go for D. Okay, tengok D pula. D berapa? Okay, D berapa persen? D 11%. Okay, thank you, Kalili. Alright, H 4% expected return and D 11%. Okay, semua dapat? Okay, we go for standard deviations. We go for standard deviation. Standard deviation H and standard deviation of D asset. Okay, kita tengok sini. Saya nak panggil I want to call Tiu Jiezuan. Tiu Jiezuan, are you here? Yes, what is the standard deviations H and D? What is the percentage of risk for H and what is the percentage risk for D? Or standard deviation. Standard deviation measure risk. High standard deviation mean high risk. Low standard deviation mean low risk. Alright, Jason? 17.97. And the another one, D equal to 22.37. Yang lain-lain dapat jawapan yang sama. Saya buka open to the floor. Okay, quick response from the class. Yang lain-lain, please check your answer. Is it 17.97 for H and 22.37 standard deviation of D? Okay, respon yang lain. Please quick respond. Apa responnya daripada yang lain? Mari kita lihat. Untuk H and untuk D. Come on. Cepat-cepat, kita tak ada banyak masa. Lucisan H14 0.27 and D 22.78. Lain-lain? Mungkin ada jawapan yang lain? Ini jawapan Cisan. Q1, okay, sekarang dah jadi tukar sekarang. 14.27 Cisan now become 12.47 from Kibin for H. And D also changed from 2278 Chisan to 16.98 from QN. Alright, lain-lain. Syahidah 18.3%, 17.54% bagi D. Kibun 9.726 bagi H. H 4.15 and 1.75. Miza Jazzy 13.14, 22.78. Okey, tengok tadi jawapan Akal Lily tadi. Akal Lily dah bagi kita expected rate of return 4% for H and 11% for D. Jawapan paling hampir adalah let me check first. Chia Z. Okay. The most correct answer from Ui Chia Z. H 13.14% and D is 22.78%. Most correct answer goes to the Chia Z. Kinbun 13.38%. Alright, Kinbun, congratulations for H. Kinbun, tadi saya cakap most correct answer. So Kinbun now have the answer for H, 13.38 or 13.379 for H. And what is D? Standard deviation for D, Kinbun. So cari calculator yang boleh guna negative power. Alright. Okay, cari calculator. Just use the scientific calculator. Okay, and please master in using the calculator. Okay, some other calculator they have different function, different button functions. Okay, so saya tak boleh nak ajar you macam mana nak guna calculator sebab calculator berbeza brand, berbeza jenama, dia mempunyai fungsi button yang berbeza-beza. Alright, now we have the answer 13.38% standard deviation for H. Now we waiting for standard deviation for D. Okay, sekarang kita dah ada jawapan di sini. Okay, H equal to 13.38% here. Now we're waiting for D. D 22.78. Now, I have the answer now already. Okay, we go for C. Just bahagikan je 13.38 with 4% and 22.78 with 11%. Okay, kita dah dapat jawapan untuk D. Thank you, Izian. Thank you, Zuhaslisa. Okay, Kim Boon as well. So we go for last one. We go for coefficient of variance. Cuma bahagikan 13.38 bahagi 4 dan juga 22.78 bahagikan dengan 11%. So H berapa H? 3.345. Okay. 3.35. Boleh kan? Tulis tu. 3.35 and D 2.07. 2.07%. Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all for today. Hari ini kita dah belajar berkaitan dengan apa maksud the definition of risk and what is the definition of return from the perspective of financial management, and also we learn how to calculate a return, expected rate of return and required rate of return. So how to decide if the expected return is higher than required rate of return, we accept. If the required rate of return lower than, if the expected return lower than required rate of return, we reject the project. And then we also learn about the risk, how to calculate the risk, what is the definition of risk, and how to calculate the risk. We measure risk through the standard deviation. High standard deviation mean high risk, and the most appropriate to measure the risk is through the coefficient of variance. High coefficient variance mean high risk. I think that's all for today. Thank you very much. And for the Indian, happy Deepavali. And see you again on the next week meeting as usual. Thank you very much. Any question? Ada soalan?